The REV 225-AA amplifier is a Class D design. It should be understood that all Class D amplifiers, regardless of brand, will cause a reduction in FM reception. The REV 225-AA features proprietary circuitry we call reduced electromagnetic interference technology, which we believe gives the best FM reception of any amp made for a motorcycle. It should also be noted that nothing works as well as the factory antenna. If FM is an important part of your riding experience, we strongly advise against the use of any in-fairing type antennas. Start by removing the bike's outer fairing and then the main power wires from the battery. Carefully remove each wire from the speaker. In the box, locate the main audio input harness and plug it into the matching connector on the side of the amp. If this amp is running front fairing main speakers, locate the 4-pin output harness and plug it into the matching amplified output pigtail on the side of the amp. Locate the main power harness and plug it into the matching connector on the side of the amp. Locate the supplied Velcro and separate the male and female halves. Apply one of the pieces to the underside of the amp as shown. The factory radio has a bump running front to back in the middle. If you're installing the amp with a factory radio, cut one of the pieces of Velcro in half and apply on either side of the bump as shown. For this install, we are using a popular aftermarket plug-and-play radio. Place the amp as far back as you can, as shown, to make sure the outer fairing will go back on. If your bike has other accessories on top of the radio, or you do not want an amplifier on top of the radio, you can use a Hogtunes 2-channel side plate to mount the amp between the radio and brake side speaker as shown. Locate the yellow and black wire on the amp's input harness and plug them into the factory speaker wires on the clutch side of the bike. Locate the green and black wires on the amp's input harness and plug them to the factory speaker wires on the brake side of the bike. You now have music coming from the radio into the amplifier. Assuming this is a typical installation where the amp is powering front speakers, you would normally take the brown and black wires from the amp and plug them directly onto the clutch side front speaker. On this bike, our HF1 tweeter pod is installed, so the brown and black wires from the amp will plug into the tweeter pod's Y jack as shown. The amplifier's blue and black wires would normally plug directly to the brake side speaker, but in this case it's going into our tweeter pod's Y jack. We now have music coming out of the amp directly to the speakers. The power harness will exit the fairing on the brake side as shown here, close to where the factory harnesses are attached to the frame. If you choose to remove the bike's fuel tank, the power wires will fit inside the factory wire chase. The wires can also go up and over the tank, but under the chrome console. When correctly installed, the power wires are long enough to reach the battery terminals. Attach the power wires for the bike and the amplifier to the battery. You will see a 3-position switch on the end of the amp. This is there to allow you to tune this amp's volume to other amplifiers or speakers on the bike. In most cases, this switch will stay in the +3 position. Turn the bike's ignition on and make sure everything is working fine. Using the supplied zip ties, clean up the wires inside the fairing, making sure none of the amplifier's wires get attached to the bike's antenna wire. With all wires secured, turn the bike's front wheel to each extreme side, making sure nothing is impeding the steering of the bike. Assuming all is good, reinstall the bike's outer fairing and the amplifier is ready to enjoy.